Hello, Brother Sewing and Crafting family. I'm Brother Brand Ambassador Angela Wolf, and we are at your side virtually. Today we have a fantastic show. May is joining us, and I've seen a little sneak peek of it. It's super cute. So grab your ScanNCut and wait till she shows you some of these great projects. All right, so let's bring May up. And also, if you've never been here before, just a real quick one. We are live on Brother Sewing and Crafting Facebook and YouTube channel. So you can leave comments, we can see them, ask your questions, and be sure to say hi, say where you're from, because you never know. Your neighbor might be sewing next to you or fishing. You never know. Hi, May.
Hi, how are you?
Good. I'm so excited for today. I already see everybody rolling in, saying hi to us. Welcome, everyone. I love it when we have all of our regulars that are popping right away. So, May, your shirt is adorable, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
So what are you going to be showing us today? I didn't want to give all the cat out of the box. I'll let you do it.
So today I'm talking about Halloween, and I know it's only September 15th, but typically if I'm going to decorate for Halloween, October 1st, I want it all up and done. If I'm going to decorate for any holiday, I want a solid month. I don't want to make a bunch of stuff and have it be up for a couple days or a week. So right now is the time where if there's anything Halloween or fall themed that I want to do, now is the time that I'm getting into those projects.
That's a good idea. You know, I never thought about that. And usually I have a couple really cute decorations I've made in the past on the Brother blog, which, by the way, don't forget the Brother blog. There are a ton of Halloween stuff on there as well. But I put it up like the week before Halloween and then you take it down. So what a great idea to utilize it from now until then, or at least the month of October.
Yeah, and then that way things are, a little more fun, a little more festive, although I'm not decorating this week for sure because the flooring right where I'm sitting, actually, as soon as we're done here, I've got to take the tables and everything out because the flooring has to get fixed tomorrow. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, not yet. We'll not decorate yet, but we'll start crafting to get ready to decorate.
That's perfect. All right, great.
So today what I thought we'd play with, I actually went, and this is something I really recommend, is I went back in time and revisited. You can revisit your own social media. That's one of the great things if you post to Instagram or Facebook, if you post what you make, then you can revisit that. You can scroll back and you can inspire yourself. Or you can look back at blogs or your Pinterest or something else that inspires you, the Brother blog archives. Find something that inspires you, but look back and see what have you already made or what have you done in the past or liked in the past, or maybe even something you wanted to do in the past, but you want to bring it into the future. So when I went looking back, I found this pillow that I made.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
Isn't she cute? So, and it's so funny because this year, and I'll talk to you guys about it in a minute. So actually, I need everybody's help with something. So I'll talk to you about that in a minute. But last year I made this and it was cracking me up because this year I keep thinking I want to try with some like melon colors and like some pinks in my Halloween this year. And I thought it was something new. And then I went to pull stuff out and I pulled Minnie Mouse here out and I went, oh, wait, I started that last year. I was already trying that a little bit last year with this kind of melon colored fabric, and she's orange, but a little hair bow is kind of a salmon color, and the pillow is kind of a melon color. So apparently I've already started trying to get pinks and melon and peach and those kind of colors into my Halloween. But yeah, so that's what I made last year, and it got me thinking what a great pattern and design that is, and how many options there are with those kind of patterns that you can do them in all kinds of different materials and sizes and colors. And you could take one idea and turn it into a whole bunch of different things. So I've got, depending on time, 2 or 3 different ways that we're going to play with that today.
Oh, I love those colors though. I always think of orange, black. I mean, that gives a whole different, very classy look too.
I think it's fun and it's just a little unexpected. I'm usually very orange and black in my Halloween, but I thought that was kind of fun, and it could go with some, like maybe some mustard yellows and maybe some more fall, make it a little more fall and a little less Halloween specific. So
that's a great idea.
With it.
All right.
So we can go over to the ScanNCut and I'll show you the pattern and we'll play with the first idea here. So okay. In the pattern, so I am on the SDX 230D, Got our little Disney, and I love this machine. Always makes me so happy when I log in and Mickey Mouse is right there waiting for me. He's just right there waiting for me with all kinds of patterns and fun. And I always suggest people kind of get to know your built-in designs and revisit them, because sometimes there's built-in designs here that you don't realize you have, or you don't realize are right there for you. And it can be easy to forget about them. Like I'll give you for example, under the Elsa here, where there's a bunch of Frozen stuff, there's also a bunch of snowflakes and really pretty piece designs that you could make beautiful quilts and things with. So it's really easy to forget all of the designs that you have. So I always think it's a good idea once in a while to just take a minute and scroll through your built-in designs. Now you can see down here in Mickey Mouse, we have little treat boxes. And in fact, last year we made one of these on one of the live shows, we made one of these Christmas treat boxes that was so much fun. There's little treat boxes. And I've played with Minnie. So there's a Mickey Mouse here, and Mickey's got a little green top. And then back down, here's Minnie Mouse. And Minnie Mouse has a little bow, which I just think is
gosh, that is so cute. Wait a minute. I just have to ask. You just said there's how many built-in designs that you don't pay attention to? Well, that would be one, and that's super cute. It's built into the machine right here. How have I not seen that?
I know, it's so super cute. And yeah, there's just absolutely a whole bunch of these that it would be very easy to miss. So, okay, there's Minnie Mouse. So I'm going to want it, let's see. So 4 inches high by 4, I'll just round this up here. There we go. So I'm gonna have it be 4 inches high by 4.5 inches wide. And that's gonna tell us the total design size. So that's giving us the entire design size. And then there's different cuts that you can do. So this is kind of fun. If you were just looking for the Mickey or Minnie, just the silhouette of the head, you could just select this and cut nothing else, and that's what you would get. So there's a bunch of ways in the machine here to get the simple pattern or get part of the pattern. So this one has 4 pieces. It has the little eyes and nose, the bow, and you can see how it highlights whichever one we are on. And then this one, it has the gaps in here. Now, sometimes what you can do, you may decide, you know what, I don't need the background piece, or you may decide you do want the background piece. That's kind of depends on what you're up to and what you're doing. I'm gonna look and see, what do I have here? So I have a couple different colors. We're gonna start with regular craft vinyl, sticker vinyl, depending on what you want to call it. I found this purple. I don't know where this came from. Don't you love it when you shop your own stash and find new treasure?
That's a great color.
It's some kind of like glittery purple, and I don't know where it came from. I wish I did. It's unmarked and everything, so I have no idea where it came from.
One of those treasures that you find that you're like, oh, I have no idea. Now I know Arnell is on here, and she's loving that purple.
Yeah, it's fun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting these onto a card. So I'm not actually going to do the base layer because I don't need it. I'm okay with the white background of the card, or actually, yeah, the white background of the card. I'm okay with that showing through. So remember that there's pieces that you think you don't want the layer or you don't think you need it. You can always skip it for now and come back. So if you change your mind, you can always come back and get it. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and cut everybody at once. So we've got that, and we need the bow. And you notice that it's automatically sizing. It's sizing the pieces to go together. So we don't have to think about if things go together. It's just automatically sizing things for us to go together. Okay. And there's that. And then I'm gonna add the base just so we can see the differences. And then that can go there. Okay, so once I have all my pieces kind of in here and I can see that everybody is very obviously smaller than 6 by 6, then my next step is to get out my vinyl because I want to cut it all together if possible. Just save a little bit of time, you know? So get it all together. And then I'm just cutting everybody at once. And that should work. So I'm going to get out my mats. I've just got actually, you know what? That's a standard mat and that would be fine, but it's a brand new standard mat. And typically, let me reach over here. There we go. Okay, so I have a different mat that I'm going to use. And the reason is, generally speaking, I don't put sticker vinyl on a brand new standard mat. And let me pull, I'm over on the side, just pulling off my dust cover here. It's kind of a noisy one every time. So I don't normally do that. And the reason is, sometimes with that, and let's see, white goes here. So sometimes with the brand new mat, it's very sticky. It's supposed to be sticky. Now the problem can be that if you put something super, super sticky and then sticker paper on the back, you know how it's kind of like I don't know, but it's kind of an easily tearable type material. So you could wind up with, too sticky of a mat plus that kind of a material that's not slick, like say heat transfer vinyl or something like that. Sometimes you could wind up having a little bit of an issue. And I'm going to compliment myself because my goodness, look how good my freehand squares are. My goodness. So that really worked. And I'm just going to load my mat. Now the mat I'm using right now is actually 12 by 24 because that's the mat I was using. And so that's the mat I have out and available that's partially used. And all right, now that we've got it loaded, we'll go ahead and scan it. So it's going to scan the whole mat, even though I'm not using the second foot here of mat space, but it'll go ahead and scan everything in there. And if you wanted to make multiples, this would be a great mat to use to go ahead and load it up with lots more vinyl and get lots more cuts done at once. I do that when I'm doing, especially around the holidays, when I start doing batch creating, I like to make sure and get the most out of things. Okay, so I'm just moving things around to make sure the bigger pieces, I just want them centered, and the smaller pieces I'm putting towards an edge so that I can actually trim around and reuse the remaining vinyl. And I'm having it though, and then we're going to go in here in the functions and put on half cut. So half cut is going to cut, since we're on essentially kind of a sticker paper here. So what that's going to do is, with our vinyl, the sticker part is separate from the backing sheet. So it'll cut the sticker and it won't cut the backing sheet, which is what we want. All right, so we'll start that and that'll cut those out. And what I'm actually, this is our warm up. And when I have a project here where I'm trying to do, I'm trying to do a lot of different things and there's a lot of pieces and options. What I'll do, so what I want to do is put it bigger on this banner, but I want to make sure that I know, I want to make sure I know what I'm doing with my banner and what sizes do I like. And, do I like the colors? Do I like how everything's going together? So a lot of times what I'll do is do a small test project first and see, how do I like this pattern? How does it fit together? Do I like it all before I get into more expensive materials and higher stakes?
That's a good idea.
I'll do that. I'll run that test. I think that it can be a really helpful, especially if it's a newer idea or if you're newer to whatever you're doing. That's a great idea to gain that experience. So I'm having we're just going to craft a little card, a real simple little card here. We're just going to put our vinyl. I've got my transfer material. All of the little patterns here that we're doing should be nice and easy and quick to weed. So this should be a nice little warm-up project. I'm just looking around because theoretically I've got my little pick tool here. In theory, my pick tool is here, but I'm not sure that it really is.
Josie said she just made that, enlarged it, and realized that it was Mickey or Minnie. Minnie.
Oh yeah. Yep. Okay, so then what I'll do before we move anything, I will test and make sure, okay, that one looks good. I'll just test the vinyl and make sure that it looks like everybody cut, because it's really no fun to have to waste vinyl or to have to sit and hand cut things. Okay, and then I'll gently peel everybody off here. All right. I'm going to unload this. So the next screen that pops up here, this select next part or finish. Selecting the next part is going to take us back to the screen. Finish is just going to put us back here. So I'm actually just going to go to the home screen because we're going to start all the way over in a moment for the other piece. But before we do, we'll just assemble this real quick. So we've got our pieces, and I mentioned that I like to save as much vinyl as I can. So I'm just trimming around on the white and on the purple. I'm just trimming around the design so that then when we peel it, we don't have an enormous amount of waste. There's not a bunch of product. Oh my gosh, that's going to be such a cute little bow. That's perfect. And then do something with the vinyl that you weed. I tend to just kind of roll it in a ball and try to get it to roll on itself here. And you'll notice too, I'm just kind of using smooth, gentle motions here. I'm not getting wild about, like real sudden pulling or anything. The vinyl can tear. I don't know about you, Angela, I find that this sticker vinyl is pretty hardy, but if you start to tear it, it's really gonna tear.
Or I've had one where it was like a really intricate design and I started to pull it back and then it got stuck on my finger and then I tried to move it around. I messed up the whole design. The whole thing was a mess.
Yep. You want to be really careful. And there it is. I knew I must have brought it. So this is a tool that you can purchase from Brother, and it's a really nice pick tool because what it can help you do is it can just kind of help lift up where those fine edges are. So it just kind of helps to, it's obviously very much smaller than my finger, so it can get in there nicely.
Everyone's loving the bow.
Isn't that fun?
Yes. Here's someone who's from, my same state, just the opposite side.
Oh.
Michigan. Oh, that looks so good.
So there is our base. And then what we're going to do, so this gets kind of funny because we have two different ways that we can do this. This is my card. So I could start with the base layer and put the base layer on the card and build from the bottom up. So put the base layer on the card, then put this layer on the card, then put my bow, and then put my eyes. So I can build that way. Or if I want to entirely build everything on and transfer it on one, we can do the opposite where using the transfer sheet, I put the eyes on and then I put the eyes over it. So you can do it the opposite way too. The only time I would do that is if the surface I'm working on is maybe delicate or maybe something that I need to just do for some reason. I just need to put it all on there at once. I find that it actually works out better and easier to use the transfer material and go from the bottom up. Generally speaking, I know I had a clear vinyl pouch that I was making, and I really needed to see the entire finished piece to know where to put it. And in that instance, it made more sense to build the entire design the way that I was to build it from and then transfer it all together. Now, the reason we have to start with the base if we're going transfer material first is because it sticks to the transfer material. So I can't get anything between that base and the transfer material now. But you can see the thing that makes it nice is we can see exactly where we're putting it. Get it all nice and centered and then press down. And it shouldn't take a ton of pressure on smooth cardstock because the vinyl should want to transfer. I mean, it's a sticker on the back, so the sticker should want to let go and let us move along. And your transfer material is reusable, so you can keep using it and using it as long as it has some stick. So then we're just gonna build on up. And I decided to go ahead on this one, I decided to go ahead and use the base layer, and then on the other one I won't. So that you can see the difference there. And sometimes it helps, like I'm just kind of, whoop, don't get your finger in there. I'm just kind of pressing down that way so that I'm pressing it into the transfer material. Now you just want to, again, you want to be nice and careful here. It should be, this one should be a little forgiving, and it is. So on this one, the black mini head is a little smaller than the orange, and that's on purpose so that we can actually get it to transfer without 100% perfection, and that's really nice. Because guess what? We can't always get things just perfect. And if you get bubbles, like I see a little bubble here, you can just kind of press and work it to the edges, and it will come out. I'm not gonna worry about our little bubble friend here. I'll deal with that later when I have my little spatula. And then we have our bow. These are so fun, and these layered patterns, the thing that I think is fun about them is people look at them, your non-crafty friends especially, and they'll just be blown away. Like, how in the world did you make that? How did you get it?
So I'm so glad you're showing every step here, because this is such a cute project, and you're making it look so easy to do. Anybody can do this.
You know what? I promise you it really is easy, which, you know, if we can do it live here in several minutes, you know it's not too hard. But it really is easy. The only challenge is just to remember you just have to kind of slow down and remember the process, remember the steps that you need to take. Now, when you have a pattern like this that has multiple pieces, a lot of times, like you'll notice all of these white pieces, they are situated so that when I go to transfer, the nose is just being stubborn. When I go to transfer, this is going to transfer all together and the pieces are correct compared to each other. And that's something to note, that a lot of times with these designs, they do that intentionally, that when you go to set down your eyes or your nose or whatever the piece is of the same color, it's all going to sit down correct to each other. So you don't have to figure out where the left eye goes to the right eye goes. They already did that part for you. Okay, so there we have sticker vinyl. And I mentioned there's like a little air bubble here. All I need to do is get my little spatula tool and just kind of work that out towards the edge, and we will get that gone. So if you get any little bubbles, or you can think of it as a pumpkin wart, I suppose. You can leave it and have a warty pumpkin. So
a warty pumpkin.
This is sticker or craft vinyl, so it's a sticker. So it's the kind that you can just stick on like a sticker. And then next, what I'm going to show you is the heat transfer, so that we can make our banner. I'm very excited about our banner. That's going to be a lot of fun. So I've got my big mat out again. And I've got my big mat out, and I'm going to just kind of look at size-wise. I use my mat a lot.
I have a couple,
about 10 inches.
Probably 9 would be good. 1 second, I got a couple quick questions before you move on. But Deb just wants to know, was that design built in the machine? Which, yes, it was.
Yes, we're working with built-in.
And Karina had a question for you. I think she wanted to double check. Do all the DX models have the auto blade now?
They do, and it's so much fun. Oh my goodness. I don't know about the auto blade it's really a craft life changer, because with the auto blade, that means that, when we want to put it that way, the auto blade means that I don't have to think about what blade setting, I don't have to remember to check, I don't have to do test cuts. I just tell it either half cut for vinyl or stickers, or just a regular cut. And somehow I've gotten, and this mat, after we're done here today, I have to remember to clean this mat. So we just have to remember to either half cut, and this time Minnie's going to get glitter eyes. So give her white glittery eyes. So I just have to remember to do that, to just double check if it's half cut or regular cut. And the machine tests, and if it's a thicker material, the machine may decide it needs to do several passes, but you will get everything cut. It will just cut and cut and cut. Now, the only exception, and I've just realized my own thing here. So this glitter vinyl is much thicker than the other heat transfer vinyl, which is very, very thin. So I probably do not want to try to cut this at the same time, because either this material is going to be overcut or this material is going to be undercut. I mean, I would say it's easily double. Angela, you've probably done with vinyl. You've noticed some of them are very thick.
Yes.
So because that's so much thicker, what I'm going to do, I will cut my pink bow. I'm going to give her a pink bow this time. So
Oh, I love that color.
isn't that a fun color?
Yes.
So what I will do though is give her, so she'll have her orange, I'm going to do her orange head and her pink bow. And then what we'll do is we'll work with that select next cut part and like some stuff in here. There we go. Okay, so what we are going to do, there we go. We're going to go in and grab that. Oops, I already passed it. Okay, and this time we're going to make it much bigger, about 9 inches. And it goes very quick. It's really nice and quick. Let's make 8 3/4. Okay, and I just need that piece and say, okay. And then right here on this little screen, you see where, so I clicked on the little tool cut area. I need to change it because I need to tell it we're on a big mat. And then I need to add my bow. Okay. And I think my bow can go somewhere around there. But I need to make sure, so I'm going to go ahead and, I love scanning my mat, especially with vinyl crafts. It takes all of my brain guesswork out of it.
It's so quiet.
It really is. So the scanning the mat, I always point out to people that this function of scanning our mat, it's not actually, the machine is not doing anything with the data. We're not making cut files or anything like that. This function of mat scanning is simply so that I can see, oh, yep, see, I was way off. So I can see where my material is. We'll arrow up so we can look. Okay. And we will cut. And we already picked half cut, so it's already half cut. And it is auto, so it is going to test and cut those. And then as soon as it's done cutting those, then we'll get in there with our thick glitter vinyl for the eyes. We'll get in there and cut that separately so that we don't have, so that we know that everything cuts better. As we always do, we want to set ourselves up for success. We want to set ourselves up so our craft projects work.
That's our hope.
So I had mentioned I need your help. So anybody who's got suggestions, you can let me know. But I went a little wild here, and I went and found all kinds of, here, I'll put them up here under the ScanNCut so you can see. I went and found all these like pink color beanie.
So cute.
Aren't they cute? But now I have no idea what I'm making with any of them. So they're super cute, the little pumpkins, the little dinosaurs and stuff, little skeletons with the moths and all this pink, but I don't know. I keep looking at them and I just don't know what the heck do I want to make with them.
Oh, let's see. Let's help May come up with
We
some
know, and I said, you know what? I know that we're going live with the brother audience and they're awesome, and I know they're going to have some ideas.
So I have one great one for you. And for all of you watching, if you go to the Brother Sews blog, I did a project, I think it was about 3 years ago. It was a bowl cover, and that fabric would be perfect for it, where I literally made a circle out of the fabric and put little grommets around it, and then just ran a string through it. And so there was a bowl cover on the outside and a bowl cover on the inside, and that was the bowl I used for my candy. Although we
that
found
would
it out
be really
early
cute.
because Win ate all the candy before Halloween got there. So I have to be a little
That's
careful.
a great project idea.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a fun one.
That's what Sharon says. What about a treat bag? That's a good one too.
Treat bag, yes. I'm just testing my vinyl over here to see. Oh, there it is. I was having trouble seeing where the cut was. And I always want to make sure, especially when we get into bigger vinyl pieces, I always want to make sure it cut thoroughly. And I check when it's a big piece, I'll check in a couple spots that everything is lifting properly.
I'm with you,
obviously a big piece of vinyl is an expensive piece of vinyl. So I think we're good, but I'll actually just take it out here and just go ahead, and I'm leaving it on the mat. So if I run into a problem, the transfer sheet is still adhered to this mat. So if I run into a problem, I can run it right back through and I won't have lost vinyl, but I also won't have to actually sit here and hand cut or try to hand cut, I should say, my whoopsie.
Are you using the super long mat? I call it the super long mat.
Yes. Yeah, this is the 12 by 24 mat. And I like it for bigger projects. It's just so nice to be able to get everybody on the same mat and cut. Or again, if you're batching, it can be really nice. Okay. And I always say, go ahead and lean into that mat. Let it help. Oh my goodness, I'm throwing things around behind me. Go ahead and let the mat help you. Let it, if I had needed to recut this, I could have, if for some reason, sometimes some of the vinyls I found, and there's our body, and I'll just set that aside, it won't stick on anything. But I have found that sometimes some of the vinyls, it's almost like they're rubbery. Like this one's very rubbery, and so sometimes with that, it can make cutting them a little funky, or maybe it seems like it should have cut, but it didn't quite. So I always just double check. It's much easier and much less expensive to double check than to have to recut vinyl. Because no matter how hard you try, you will never get it quite perfect enough to recut. All right, so now I'm putting this down, and yes, all of my mats will just have to get re-cleaned here, which is good. That means I've been using my ScanNCut. It means I've been busy, but it also means green thread on here, and that means I've been embroidering again.
It'll be kind of like, they always look behind me at my studio to do kind of like searching. We're going to be searching your mat to see what you've been working on.
It does say. So remember I said that if we finish, it just goes back. But if I click, so in this instance, I do just want to select the eyes and cut the eyes. So that gets rid of all the other patterns for me. I don't have to delete or start over or anything. So that's really nice. It just makes it so we start on over.
Oh,
and
so
I always do just scan in here just to be sure that everything is where I think it is.
So Mary has a really good question for you, because the first thing you cut out was sticker vinyl, which you don't need to reverse or anything like that. And now Mary wants to know, why did you have that upside down?
Oh, right. So when we're cutting this, that's a great question. So when we're cutting the sticker vinyl, this is the surface we want cut, which is the front of the sticker. And the back side is the transfer material or the sticker paper. And when we cut heat transfer vinyl, and the orange is a great example. So when we're on the front side here, what you're actually looking at is the transfer material. This is not vinyl. This is a transfer material that will get thrown away. The vinyl is actually on the back side. And so in this example, you can really tell because that's the front side of the vinyl and that's the iron-on. So that's the side we're going to iron. So because we don't want to cut the transfer sheet, it has to be upside down in order to just cut the vinyl. when it's heat transfer.
Perfect.
All right.
That's a great question.
That is a great question. Okay, I just have to tilt this to make sure I can see what I'm doing. Okay. All right, and we cut. And if anybody's wondering why I didn't put it up top, because I used the top the most and apparently got the most gunk all over the top, it's not as sticky. And because glitter vinyl is a little thicker, a little heavier, I wanted to make sure that my vinyl was somewhere that it would cut really easily and hold really strong. And that's something I always remind people is you've got the whole matte surface. It doesn't always have to be up at the top. And in fact, I think you'll get your mats to last longer if you're making sure to use the whole surface of the mat so that you're cutting all over it.
That's a good tip, May. I'm such a creature of habit. I always end up just sticking everything right in the exact same spot on every single mat.
So I end up doing that too, and then I end up, it's funny because then I end up like we are today where I go, oh, well, I've been doing that too much, and now, now the very top of the mat's not as sticky or it needs to be cleaned, but the rest of the mat, and this one I did not keep on because we can very clearly see that she cut right out. And I always recommend to people, if you're new to heat transfer, I always say start with some glitter vinyl because the glitter vinyl is much thicker and it's much more stiff and it's tougher. So in my experience, that makes it more forgiving if like I just pulled, and it's not, it's much less likely to be delicate or to tear. It's also much less likely that I will burn it with my iron or something else. So I'm a fan of the glitter vinyl, especially if you're new to all of this. All right. So now I'll bring over the iron. And I was just thinking how I forgot my pad or my fabric, but that's okay because I'm just going to move everybody around here. There we go. It's actually okay because I have all that Halloween fabric sitting right here. Okay, so you want to go ahead and just warm up. I always just kind of warm up the surface and make sure there's no big wrinkles or anything. And you could make your own. This is just a canvas banner that I found, and it's already got, so I just need to buy a little wooden dowel, and I can run a little wooden dowel through here and hang it with some ribbons or something.
Oh, good idea. That looks like a pocket to my jeans. It's actually made the same way. So anybody who's been sewing jeans lately, just take the pocket and enlarge it a little bit.
Oh, yeah, that's a great idea. Nice and simple. It was just such a good price and the perfect sizes and everything that I went, oh, okay, I'll save myself from making. And that's something I'll do too. And a lot of us do is if you don't have the know-how or the material, see if you can make it semi-homemade. See if you can do it in a little different way. All right, so I know so I'm going to bring this down here so I can see visually for myself that it's in the center. And then I'll just kind of slide it up, not too far, I think right about there. And then pull out a little of my fabric here. And we're just going to press down and go and make sure everything's pressed down. Now, when I'm doing a multi-layer like this, I do want to make sure everything gets pressed down all nice and safe. Oop, I got to turn my steam off. I do want to make sure everything is pressed and nice, but I will remind everybody when we're doing multiple layers, we're going to be heating this again and again. So if there's a spot that maybe needs a little more ironing or a little more pressing, you can always come back around to it when you're doing multiple layers. If you either think it didn't quite take or you're not so sure. Like right now, I don't feel like this took, but let's see. I'm letting it kind of cool off a little. No, I think it could use a little more. Everything is very, very hot though, so we don't want to be careful with your fingers. And in fact, a lot of times I will tell people, let it cool down. Go walk away, get a cup of tea, do something else for a couple of minutes, and then come back, because it gets very, very hot, and you don't need to burn your fingers on that. Okay, I think we're probably pretty good there. It's hard to tell though. It's so glossy and smooth. Woo, that fabric is hot though. If you guys could feel that. Wow. That fabric is hot. Okay, and then as it cools down, I'll just kind of start at one end, and I'm actually not going to, okay, so this end needs a little more. We'll put our, and if I'm trying to spot check something, what I'll do is just put the fabric cover or whatever you're using to protect, I'll just put it over that one area so that I can see better and target better. I will tell you, this transfer material is iron safe, so the transfer sheet. So there have definitely been times when I thought, oh, you know, I think I should maybe redo this or start over or something to that effect. And like I can see right here, there's like a little tiny spot where it's still lifting up a little. But I'm not going to worry about that, because all I'm really going to do here is pull it down just enough for my bow. And I'm actually going to trim. Now, the only rule when it comes to, well, as we're layering and doing this stuff, really my rule is I just need to make sure that there is no transfer material between the vinyl, and I can do it right, I can show you right here, because this little spot right here didn't hook. I don't want any transfer material between the background and my vinyl, because if there is, then that's going to be a huge problem. You're going to have iron transfer material into the design, and you don't want that. So just make sure there's no transfer material in your way. And then I'm just going to turn this towards myself here. And this is why I said I don't worry too much about if that first layer is 100% perfect, because sometimes, and I want to say that this orange is left over from a sports project, so it's like a sports vinyl, and it takes a little more heat and a little more time to really heat set. So don't get too worried about that. Remember, you can always place it back down and heat it up some more. All right, let's take a look at that. And always nice and, okay, see, I can already see it already fixed itself.
Oh, yes, it looks so good now.
It already fixed itself. And I just don't, you know, I just make sure that I work nice and slow and easy. And I'm also kind of paying attention to and watching. The other thing I will do, and actually this came up in a previous show, in a comment after the fact, I will double check after we're done here with the live, because obviously we have cameras and it's not my usual angle and everything. I do double check everything after the fact to make sure, was everything going to be in the right place? Is everything still, is everybody still playing nice? Is everything still ironed down really nicely? And if so, come here, fabric. If it is, great. And if it's not, we'll just do it one more time. So sometimes that can help too, because sometimes I've noticed after everything is totally cooled and has set, sometimes there will be a spot that maybe didn't quite stick. Or maybe I did, because I'm working with an iron. It'd be lovely if I had one of those giant heat presses that we could just press everything just perfect, just so. But since I'm working with an iron, because I don't have room, I'd rather have my ScanNCuts than have a heat press. So I had to pick who I have room for.
Hey, what setting do you have your iron on?
All the way, I have it hot, because this is an old iron. And what I have found is if it's not on all the way hot, it's just not hot enough to do anything.
Good. Thank you.
So you'll definitely want to play with that with your own iron and see what settings work, or what works well for you, and all of that good stuff. So, ta-da.
That is so stinking
fun. And you can see how it's kind of, I like on this one how it shows through. I like how it shows through the background. I think that that's really fun. And something else I'll tell you and show you that I didn't mention, but up here in the ears, there are cutouts.
Oh.
And I didn't mention it to you guys before. I just forgot to mention it to you, but you'll see how you can't even find them right now that I've ironed it all on, because I never went in there with my pick. I never removed them because I did not want them removed. I wanted the ears to be solid. So I just didn't take them out. So you can see that even if you've got a pattern where it has some element, you could simply, especially with heat transfer vinyl, once it's, as long as you've not touched it or messed with it, you can just not weed that part and test it out. And on a lot of materials, it absolutely will work. It's something definitely to test and try, but yeah, you can see the difference. We've got original Minnie here. She's got, so what I did on this one is I just stitched around the bow. And my intention with this one, and we'll bring this banner back next month. I'll show you all the way finished because I have ideas here. It's just ideas that are going to take hours versus minutes. So I've got a bunch of little buttons in Halloween fun colors. And I even found, look at this, I even found a teeny tiny Minnie Mouse button that matches.
Oh my gosh, where did you, that's perfect.
Isn't that perfect? So I'm thinking I'll do like a couple little, and there's Mickey Mouse too. So I'm thinking I'll stitch on a couple little buttons, and I'm thinking I haven't decided machine or hand embroidery, but I'll do some stitching. So now that I've got my main part here, I can do all kinds of other decorating and coloring or whatever, I've got ribbons that we can add. We can add ribbons to the design. We can add ribbons. When I get my little dowel in here, we can put ribbons in here, make this into a banner. And I've made this fabric, but you could also cut this shape. The ScanNCut has this built in. This machine has this shape in there. You could cut it out of paper and do everything out of paper as well.
Oh, that's a good idea. You're giving me a lot of ideas for little birthday parties. I don't mean little birthday parties for the little ones, but you could do it for the big ones too. But I mean, like, what a great idea if you could cut it out of paper, and if you're just going to use it for one season and then just toss it. I love that.
Yeah, you absolutely can. And I always like doing that, especially if I have a lot of paper left over from a project or from something else and I want to get it used. We can turn it into paper, because these designs will absolutely cut out of paper or out of whatever you like. And if you remember back on this one, we have that solid background option. If you did that and it was in paper, you could also just do paper Minnie Mouses and string paper Minnies and Mickeys all along without the backing. You could just use the background plus the cuts in paper and do it that way. That's another fun option.
And then someone just mentioned, well, actually she mentioned for you to stitch Happy Halloween on the sides, which you could with all the lettering from in the embroidery machines, or sewing machines, I should say.
Yes, I was thinking about that. Either stitching, or we could actually put a cut file, scan something in, or import an SVG file or something into the ScanNCut. And I was actually thinking in tiny black vinyl that maybe on the side here, I would do that.
Yes.
And then use fancy embroidery stitches all the way around. That's not all the edges that are not that lettering.
All these fantastic ideas. So by the way, I'm going to put May's website up here real quick, because I know some of you have asked me, where can I find her other projects? I just had it right here. Where did it go? I just had it. I lost you. Here it is. I'll put it down below, because I also have the Brother blog on there where there's a ton of Halloween ideas for you. I cannot wait to see what people do with this, though, because this is going to be very inspiring. I'm going to put May's Instagram up as well, along with Brother, if you look above. There was just a couple questions for you. Well, actually, Jan, I'm with you, Jan. Jan says, I didn't realize you could layer the vinyl. This is going to be awesome. It opens up a whole different avenue when you think of that.
Yeah, so you can layer the vinyl onto vinyl. And then actually, I tested an idea that someone here had brought up once before, that you can iron on vinyl onto paper.
I've never tried that.
So I tried it. Actually, it's a project that'll be coming to the brother ScanNCut blog, but I tried it and I thought, oh my gosh, this actually worked. It really worked. So yes, the vinyl, you can layer vinyl on vinyl. You can layer it onto fabric. I mean, you can layer whatever you need or want to layer it, whether it's the heat transfer kind or the sticker kind. It absolutely can layer. The real thing that I always say is you'll notice that I kept the large transfer sheet, no matter, even though I was working with these smaller pieces, I always kept this big one. And that's just so I couldn't accidentally, and I'm going to use this piece of paper, pretend this is an iron, so that I didn't accidentally, if we were only working on those parts, well, what if my iron corner accidentally touches over here where it's unprotected? Well, it's going to burn. It's going to melt. It's going to be a problem. So that's why, that's the one thing on layering vinyls. I always keep whatever the biggest piece or part is, I always keep that down while I'm ironing so that nothing can accidentally get burned or singed or anything like that.
Good idea. Hey, this is what, Kelly, this is a great idea. Do you know if there's any glow in the dark vinyl?
Oh my gosh, that would be so cute.
Wouldn't that be behind?
I don't know that I've seen that. I don't know that I've seen that.
Have to go on the search. Good idea, Kelly.
That would be really fun.
Put it behind the eyes and the nose. That would be adorable.
That would
All right. Let's see. Do you have any more questions? I saw some of you ask questions that we already answered at the beginning. So if you rolled in late, you can always go back and watch this. You just have to, if you're on Facebook, share it to your page. If you're on YouTube, you can come back anytime and binge watch hundreds of these episodes. What is the link for the Brothers ScanNCut blog? I'll put that link up too, but also if you look below, just go to brothersews.com, Linda, and then scroll to the bottom of the page and you'll see ScanNCut blog and you'll see sewing blog. They're both on there. Both have some great things for us. Just making sure there isn't any other questions that we missed. Everybody's so easy today. Everybody loves this project. Oh,
you know what? It's always my favorite time of year when I realize that it's time for pumpkin Minnie Mouse to come out. That's always my favorite.
Everybody's saying, yes, there is glow in the dark vinyl. Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Interesting. I'll have to watch for that.
Bucket list. Just checking. I think we got all the questions. I'm making sure I didn't miss any of you. I was so intrigued by watching you. I didn't check all the questions. Everybody's saying, great idea. This is so wonderful.
And awesome. It's super easy. As you guys can see, I mean, we did it within, we've been on here a little less than an hour and we were able to do it twice and get it transferred and weeded and transferred and moved twice. It's super, super easy. And I think if you're new to layering designs, especially with vinyl, start with one like this one where the cuts are fairly simple. It's not super, super intricate and it's 3 or 4 pieces. It's not 10 pieces. So it's a nice, simple one to start with and to get going with so that you make sure that you're going to be successful because you definitely want to build up with this stuff and craft beautiful things and have fun with it.
Very fun. I see Brother put the link for the crafting blog, so you can't miss it. It's in there. And then the sewing blog is the one that has the bowl covers I was talking about. And I know when I looked last year, there were quite a few Halloween ideas. So plenty.
I'll go digging through that because I think that bowl, and now I got to find a bowl, or maybe I need to go shopping.
You know what I used is I just used a simple plastic bowl, just like a simple, just bought a cheap one. And so the bowl cover, I actually had one panel on the inside and one panel on the outside, and then had those grommets around it. So you basically have 2 circles with grommets, and then put one inside the bowl, one on the outside, wrapped ribbon around it, and so I could use it for the Halloween, and then I just folded that up and put it away.
So cute.
Very fun. So everyone, share what you're working on. May always loves to see. I love to see. There's our Instagram handles. Join us on Instagram. May has new videos all the time on YouTube. Don't miss those. And also don't forget to visit the Brother blog because there's a lot of inspiration. May, this is fantastic. I can hardly wait till next month.
Yes, I'm so excited. So I will bring I'll bring finished Minnie Mouse back so you guys can all see it there. And I'll also post it on my social media as well so you guys can make sure you see what we do with this, because this is the start. I always love the ScanNCut. I swear, it's like the start of most of my great projects.
Well,
Starts
there's
with-
so many options. I did see a few people roll in later that said, hey, wait a minute, where is that design? It's in the ScanNCut. It's built into the ScanNCut. So check it out.
It's a personal favorite.
One thing I haven't checked in the last couple of weeks, and I'll bet you they have some good Halloween projects, is online on Canvas Workspace.
Yes, so it's free online. If you go to, if you just search, if you can't find the link is on the website, but you can also just search Canvas Workspace ScanNCut, and it'll pop right up. Every once in a while, I do that because I can't figure out where I put my favorites link. They have free cut files there as well, and they're always putting up new projects and new fun things and free cut files that you can do and make. So definitely don't miss that either.
And if you're on the Facebook, Brother just posted a link to the bowl project. So you don't even have to search.
Good. I don't even have to go search. I'm just going to go click the link.
You're reading our minds for us. Awesome. Well, May, you have a wonderful day. This was a great project. I'm looking forward to see what everybody else does. And don't forget, go visit her blog because she'll see what this looks like when she's finished. And we will see you next month. And for the rest of you, join me on Thursday at noon, and we have another fabulous project for you from the Brother Educators. We've been doing quick and easy projects this whole month, and I have to tell you, there's not one of them that I don't want to add to my list for gifts for the holidays. So I got to start getting on them. All right. Bye, everyone. Bye, May.
Bye.
Upsize your creativity with the all-new, all-smart Innovus NQ1700E, only from your friends at Brother. Demo one at your Brother dealer today.